Okay. Hello mga katribo and welcome to another episode of PairFect. I'm Francine Marquez and today you might recognize our guest because he used to be the president of the leading ride-hailing app in the country. He was also the co-founder of the famous online retail app Zalora and Gojek, an Indonesian app for ordering food, commuting, digital payment, shopping, hyperlocal delivery, and over a dozen services. Such an innovator. And obviously, there are no signs of him slowing down anytime soon because he has another business venture that we will learn more about today. Let's know all about it from Mr. Brian Koo, the CEO and co-founder of SariSuki, the first community sellers platform. Good afternoon, Brian.
Hi, Francine. Good afternoon. Great to be here, and good afternoon to everyone watching.
Yes, and you're sporting a different color these days. What's up? We remember when you stepped down as Grab PH president in 2020, it was announced that you wanted to take on other business interests. Is this one of them that we will learn more about today?
It wasn't one of them when I left. It was something that we stumbled upon uh, early last year. But when I left Grab in 2020, it was a difficult decision, no,
Ah,
for
yeah.
me personally,
Mm-mm-mm.
because I've grown to love not just the company, but also all the stakeholders that we worked with in the company, including especially the drivers that we helped support in the 7 years that I was there. So it was a bittersweet moment, but I felt that it was time also for myself and my personal growth to venture out and outside of Grab and explore other things and see how I could still take the same concept of having a sense of community and helping large sets of stakeholders in what I would do in the future. So when I left Grab, there was no intent to run an online grocery. And I'll be happy to tell you more about that. When I left Grab, it was still about transport. So I started a
Okay.
company also called Biahe, which aims to help in
Oh.
the jeepney
Mm-mm.
modernization program
Mm-hmm.
of the government, because I fell in love with transport as a space.
Mm-hmm.
And I firmly believe that if you fix transport, you fix a lot of the things, you fix a lot of other things in society. There's a multiplicative multiplier effect. And we're happy to see that there are more and more users of that service as well. And hopefully we'll continue to grow with the support of the government to push towards jeepney modernization.
Yeah, but Brian, when you left Grab PH, it was you were leading on to building it as one of the maybe formidable organizations in the country. What made you decide? What moved you to go back into the startup scene again?
Good question. I've always seen myself as a builder, so I
Mm.
enjoy building things from scratch. If you imagine a set of Lego toys, no, I like it when you first open the pack and then you start
Okay.
building.
Okay.
I don't like it when it's big already and you start just having to fix.
Mm-mm.
So I like the 0 to 1
Mm.
part of a business where it starts
Mm-mm.
from nothing. You need to craft, really form it. Um, Almost all the time with your bare hands, of course, with the help of a lot of colleagues, investors, people who believe in you, who trust in what you're doing. It's never a job that you can do alone, but it's
Mm-mm.
always the exciting part that I find in what I like doing.
Mm-hmm.
So Grab, you're right, Francine. It got to a scale where it was large.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, personally, that's the time it gets a bit more boring
Oh.
from what I like doing.
Okay. And then I understand there was a time when well, maybe I want to know if there's a connection. There was a time when your wife was selling fresh fruits also online. Did it have something to do with your business right now? Tell us more
Yeah,
about
so
it.
so thanks for bringing that up. The whole genesis of Sarisuki started out in our living room.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so in and that's how all great startups start, right? It starts out
Yes.
in the garage or the living room. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that this one started out in our living room. So in early 2021, my wife was just, she was thinking about what to do. Um, the kids were a bit more grown up. She had a bit of time on her hands. And when when uh, when the pandemic hit, there were a lot of these Viber groups that were selling different items,
Yes.
all the way from specialty items to very simple daily essential items, including
Yes.
rice, chicken, um, vegetables, fresh seafood, and we'd order from them. No? But she
Mm.
found that there was this gap in the market of
Mm.
imported fruits and frozen items and native chicken. So she sells
Mm-mm.
native chicken and
Mm-mm.
black
Mm-mm.
chicken. And it was very community centric. No? It was something that she understood that the community that we live in New Manila and Quezon City, would look for.
Mm-hmm.
So she started a little Viber group that started out with a few hundred users, grew to around 800 users. Then I said, "Wait, this is a nice idea." And
Yeah.
when we did some research that in other markets, the same concept of what we call community group buying, consolidating individual orders into a community purchase,
Mm.
uh, they were happening in other parts of the world.
Mm-mm.
We said, why don't we create a product and a platform around this and allow
Okay.
people who were hit by the pandemic in terms of
Mm-mm.
their livelihood to come in, sign up, and earn a bit of extra money by being a community leader. So I bounced
Mm.
off the idea with a few of the Grab drivers and said, why don't
Mm.
you bring on your wives to come and start and become a community leader? And now, instead of a single income household, you're a dual income household. Your wife is still working from home, able to take care of the kids. Um, you don't need any capital to start. We'll help you with that. And then it caught on, and then we grew it from there. But
Mm-mm.
it really
Mm-mm.
started from a couple of things. One is that we experienced it firsthand, so I knew what my wife would have difficulty in terms of scaling up the business, which would be finding the right suppliers, getting the right prices, having a proper e-commerce platform, just selling on Viber,
Mm-mm.
having a logistics infrastructure to help support your growing business as an
Mm-mm.
individual.
Mm-mm.
So I saw that firsthand, and I like the I like the businesses that the people working in the company, the founders, the
Mm-hmm.
senior executives working in the company would use. And this was a
Mm-hmm.
product that I would use
Mm-mm.
because
Mm-mm.
if my neighbor, you know, who I know would say, "Hey, you can buy your groceries from me at a price that's cheaper than in supermarket ABC at the corner," it's something that I would use.
Mm-mm.
And that's
Mm-mm.
what we see. So
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
we stumbled on the idea, and luckily we were brave enough to create a platform around it.
That's quite an inspiring story because it also involves partnering business-wise with Kate, your wife, for the first
Yes,
time, if I'm not
yes,
mistaken.
correct. And she makes sure that the quality is always in very good condition. If not, I won't hear the end of it. As
So's
they say, happy wife, happy life.
so is the real CEO.
Yes, she is.
Okay, the boss. Good answer. Yeah, but we want to find out more about SariSuki in a sea of all these e-commerce platforms that came about during the pandemic. What makes it stand out? You were
Yeah, I
talking
think
about the gap that had to be filled in between the e-preneurs.
correct. So if when I started Zalora more than 10 years ago, after I left Zalora to start Grab, I told myself, this is the last e-commerce thing that I do. Because it's not easy, right? E-commerce
Mm-mm,
is
mm-mm,
tough.
mm-mm,
And handling fresh produce in an e-commerce manner makes it increasingly more difficult.
mm,
Uh, but there's also a big gap in the market in a couple of respects. One is there's a big gap in the agricultural supply chain.
mm-hmm,
Around 40% of food produce is wasted along the supply chain because it's just not well built out. And then two, there's uh, there was a hit on earnings, on income of the
Mm-mm.
common individual. No, and then sorry, there's a third one. The third one, as a result of those two things, the prices of vegetables, of essential goods are are increased because of
Mm-mm.
those
Mm-mm.
inefficiencies.
Mm.
So what we wanted to do in SariSuki was to help solve uh, the problems along that supply chain, all the way to the end customer. So we're helping
Mm.
solve the agricultural gaps by trying to work as closely with farmers as possible, by
Mm.
helping potentially improve their infrastructure to reduce wastage and help drive prices down, which would
Mhm.
then allow us to transfer those savings, those margins, either as savings to the end user or to commissions for the community leaders who would use this as a means of earning earning more money to be able to support their families. And then in that respect, all the stakeholders that are crucial to us will benefit from the platform.
Mm-mm.
That's our goal. And now if we wanted to just do, we can always just try to sell groceries
Yeah.
directly online, put it on
Mm-mm.
Lazada, put it on Shopee or any one of these other popular platforms, even
Mm-mm.
put it on Grab. But it doesn't, it may solve one piece of it, but it
Mm-mm.
doesn't solve the entire equation. In what we're doing now, we're very proud that we have a platform that can solve a lot of different aspects
Mm-mm.
of the
Mm-mm.
equation. It's something that is very close to my heart, being able to not just provide an economic benefit to our investors in the company, but be able to spread that economic benefit to all the stakeholders that are
Mm.
involved in the platform.
And I guess there's a verse probably comparing it with your previous industry, like logistics and transportation, where it involves probably the rider, the passenger, and an operator, and the company itself. This one is a bigger ecosystem, right? From
It
farmer
is.
to supplier to grower to what. How do you keep it together? I guess this is where your management engineering expertise comes in, right, Brian?
Well, I'd like to say we've figured it out, but we haven't. I'd be lying. It's a constant learning process.
Yeah.
And I think it's that willingness to learn and that humility to accept criticism is comes in as as something that's very important. I'll be the first to admit we don't know everything we need to know. Every day we're discovering something, and as long as our users, everyone from the community leaders to the um, end users to the farmers, even our investors, as long as they believe in the vision of what we want this to become, then we'll have enough runway to make those mistakes, but learn from them and hopefully build something great at the end.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Are you a believer of build it and everything will just fall into place? Is that
Uh,
uh, something that you sort of believe in?
you need to build it in the right way
Okay,
without stepping on people.
okay.
uh, build it, it build it definitely, get your hands dirty definitely, but do it in a sustainable way, and not just
Mm-mm,
financial sustainability, but now you need to think about ecological sustainability. You need to
mm-mm.
think about sustainability
True.
of how people would feel towards your brand and your service,
Mm-hmm,
and create super fans, right? Create
mm-mm,
people that are, I don't like using the word loyal, and I don't like
mm-mm,
using the word dependent, but super fans who
mm-mm.
love the brand, who love the experience.
Yes,
That's what
yes.
we want.
Okay.
That's
And
what we want to build.
yeah, and do you deal directly with farmers?
We do as much as possible. We want to build. We work directly with farmers. So we
Uh-huh.
did a couple of weeks ago. We did specialty items like avocados and suha. So we would
Wow.
work directly with farmers to get the produce. Um, and hopefully be able to give them a bit more economic benefit compared to what they would have sold it at if they just went to a consolidator who would then have to go through like 3 or 4 other layers to sell that item or to sell the produce that they harvested.
Yeah, I guess that cuts across maybe all the red tape procedures that happen or in between when maybe the farmers sell their products. It goes a long way. There's some capital
Correct.
loss in it, right?
Correct. And you know the long term desire is for us to be able to work really well with the farmers and help help bring transport to the
Yes.
digital age,
Mm-mm.
right? Uh, we want to do that with the farmers. And I mean, I would have been this in the digital business if I didn't believe in the benefits that digital could bring to
Mm-mm.
any sector that it touches. So bringing digital infrastructure to agriculture, I think will help improve yields, will help reduce wastage, and ultimately benefit the users of the products as well as the producers of the products.
Mm-mm. I guess we're just starting to warm up, and it's such uh, an absorbing topic, especially now that we're all preparing for our futurity, right? Right now that we're all trying to recover from the pandemic. But before we ask you more questions, Brian, let's pause for a break.
Umay cantar Agitin kalipatin di problema
Hulaton nato ang kabuntagon. Pahuway, damgo ang ikalibay. Moro di hapon basta kita magkaupo. Pilmi na pintas kita sa pagsubok sa adlaw. Madalang kahaya.
Nasa ating pagkakaisa ang pag-asa ng ating bayan.
Sa ating pangarap haharapin na
Sama-sama tayong pabangon muli.
Ang asawa ko po ay kameraman na kasama sa lakas lang sa Maguindanao Massacre. Si Attorney Harry Roque. Hindi po niya kami nakakalimutan.
Sa mga walang boses sa lipunan, si Harry Roque ang spokesman ng bayan. Attorney Harry Roque sa Senado, number 54 sa balota.
Si Harry Roque pinaglaban ang karapatang Pilipinong mangisda sa sariling karagatan. Malaking tulong po na ibigay niya po sa akin.
Sa mga walang boses sa lipunan, si Harry Roque ang spokesman ng bayan. Attorney Harry Roque sa Senado, number 54 sa balota.
Magandang araw mga katribo! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelevelo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chirk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas na ang mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube. Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes.
We're back. I'm Francine Marquez, and we're still here with founder of SariSuki, Brian Koo. Hello. Welcome back.
Francine.
Yeah, we were talking.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was about to get off my chair. uh, when we were talking about the ecosystem that's being built, how it's been helping a lot of farmers, industries, also our various sectors. Now we want to find out more about SariSuki itself. The word itself, it already tells us that two maybe groups that can benefit from it, the Kasari and Kasuki. Can you tell us more
Yes.
about it?
Yeah, so the way SariSuki works is that we're a platform that allows individuals to sign up and become a community leader. And as a community leader, they essentially are given their own online e-commerce store. And they have access to over 2,000 daily essential SKUs. No? And when I say daily essential SKUs, this is everything from rice to eggs to frozen meats to vegetables to fruits, and then the longer tail of grocery items just to complete the assortment. So the community leader is able to take those items, share his website to his community, and then the community it could be neighbors, could be friends, it could be family, can then order from that website, and then we see the orders and process everything on behalf of the community leader and deliver to that community leader, who then tells all his customers, "Oh, it's here. You can come and pick it up, or I'll deliver it to your house for a small fee." But then that completes the whole transaction process. The products that we carry, because we try to work as close to the source of these products as possible, and we try to sell as much as possible the non-FMCG, packaged goods type of products, is we're able to translate savings by working closer to the source into the commissions or savings for the end user.
And then, how can one take this as a business opportunity? Because I've also been seeing it on your website.
Yeah.
Like no need sign up for free, and then there's a capital that can jumpstart already your own business at home.
Yeah, so it's really easy, no? So you can come into the website, join one of our orientations. It's very important so you understand the full process of how SariSuki works and how you could benefit. And from there, you download the app, you register, and then all new registrants are given a line of credit of around 3,000 pesos. So they can start selling immediately. They can also start purchasing from themselves up to that limit. And then once that they reach that limit, they collect, they pay. It sort of gets cycled. It's like a cyclical working capital that they can use.
Yes.
And as their sales grow, they can come to us and request for a higher credit limit if they're good payers, they're good community leaders, they don't have any late payments or delayed payments. Then we can move that up and help them sell more into their communities.
So it's like
I'll give you an example, Francine. There is a community leader named Christine in Alfonso, Cavite.
Yes.
And I love her story. She started out with us. She discovered us on Facebook. Her husband worked in a fast food chain, lost his job as a cook, and she was making suman. That was her way of making ends meet. She found us. She tried us out, and thank you. I thank her for trusting us. In her first day, she tried selling. She sold 1,000 pesos worth of goods, made 70 pesos. I said, "Oh wow, this is real. I can make money from this." And she put her heart into it and started going around her little barangay, inviting people to purchase with her phone. Just equipped with her phone. She was showing them the products. And now she sells, I think, 25,000-30,000 a week.
Wow.
In products. So it's really helped. There's this whole concept in startups that we like to talk about, saying, "Oh, we want to disrupt this industry, we want to disrupt this player," and so on. So I've come to realize that yes, it's nice to hear. It's a nice goal that you're trying to disrupt an industry, but what we're trying to do is to transform rather than disrupt. We want our service, our platform to be transformative to the users. It helps elevate them, right? I don't want to disrupt how they live. It's negative. I want to transform.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
their have the opportunity to transform their lives from where they are today to something better.
And I guess you're also building connections, not just transformation, but building communities. It
That's
takes
right.
communities to make transformations.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we tell our community leaders, no. So now you're a community leader selling stuff. Later on, you don't want to be just a community leader. You want to be a community influencer. You're just not selling, but you're now recommending because you're providing such a great service that we can expand into other things outside of daily essentials, right? Maybe beauty products, maybe fashion items, and people will
Yes.
believe in you kasi ikaw na yung marites sa
Yes,
community mo. You're
yes.
the one
Yes.
that's able to sort of influence decisions
Oo nga.
in a good way,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Aside from the community leaders, what about expansion plans for SariSuki? Do you have plans of maybe expanding the concept for a more regional or global note? Like
Yeah, I think
Filipino world domination.
no, the world domination is not in our plans, but we do want to expand regionally. We believe that, and not because we don't believe in the talent that we have in the company or the Filipino products, no, but we believe that focus is needed, and we want to focus on things that we understand well, which is the Filipino culture and the Filipino habit. So we want to expand regionally before we even think about the global expansion. There's also one thing that's also important is expanding along the supply chain. As I mentioned a while ago, if we're able to expand deeper into working with farmers, maybe do contract farming to help the farmers have a more guaranteed income. That's what we're looking at. We're also looking at expanding the breadth. So we want to really say that we're a platform, no? And if we can expand the breadth of categories, including fashion, including skincare, all the other products that we don't sell now, through the whole community leader model, then I think that's something that can be really powerful, not just for our brand, but also for the consumers that we serve.
Brian, you're known as an innovator besides being a successful businessman. You want to know how your mind ticks. How does an idea begin with you? Does it brew in your mind for a long time? Do you write
Oh,
it down? Does it take you years or months or nanoseconds to come up with an idea? How do you do it?
it's evolved over the years. There are some ideas. I have what you call malikot
Yeah.
malikot mag-isip
Okay.
syndrome. So, but over the years, I've learned how to distinguish things. I like solving problems, um, especially when they're very obvious things to solve, like transport. Transport is such an obvious thing that it's a problem that needs to get solved. But not every solution to a problem can become a business. That's what I've come to realize. Um, and I've started companies that have failed miserably. Maybe it was too early. Maybe it wasn't the right sort of mental fit for me. Uh, and one thing that I've come to realize is that for everyone that wants to start a business, they need to first experience the problem that they're solving and really understand that. It can't be I can't go to you and to you, for example, Francine, and say, hey, Francine, let's start a fried chicken company. It will be the biggest fried chicken company in the country. We'll build an app for it. We'll have the best gravy. We'll beat, whatever's, the whatever fried chicken brand is out there, and we'll do it with tech and this and that. Yes, you eat fried chicken, but it's not something that you fall in love, that you love,
Mm-mm,
because it's
mm.
not, one, it's not your idea, and two,
Mm.
it's not an idea that you've been mulling over
Yeah.
for months. So
Mm-mm,
you're right. Some of
mm-mm.
the ideas that I think about 3 months before I really pull the trigger,
Mm.
a year before I really pull the trigger. Like for ride hailing, for Grab, a few years before I really pulled the trigger on starting it. And hopefully there's no one else that has solved the problem in a big way that still gives you an opportunity. Um, but compared in everything that I've built, what I've had a bit of success in and what I've had a lot of failure in, it's the ideas and the solutions that I would personally use,
Mm.
um, are what I experience
Mm-mm.
success in. Um, and there's an aspect of love
Mm. Mm-mm.
in what you do.
Mm.
Because if you don't love what you do, it's very easy to give up.
Mm.
If you don't love what you do, you won't think about it. You need to be in love. You need to be head over heels in love with what you do. And me, I'm in love with what I'm doing now in SariSuki,
Yeah.
in every aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's all I think about day in, day out. I shouldn't let my wife hear this, but it's like falling in love, right? For
Yes.
you think back when you fell in love the first time,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the person that you fall in love with is what you think about. He or she's who you think about day in, day
Yes.
out. You dream about it. I've dreamt about SariSuki many times, uh,
Oo.
in a good way and in a bad way. But it's all I think about, right?
Mm-mm,
How can
mm-mm.
we, fix this process? How can we market better? How can we lower the cost in this aspect? Which province do we expand? Like everything just consumes
Oo,
you.
oo.
Um, yeah, which sort of, that's the advice that I would give, and that's how
Mm.
that's like in any future business that I would do. I would always have that gut check to think
Yeah.
if that's how I'm feeling about it before I proceed.
Yeah, and maybe, as they say, laser focus, as we are finding out right now, thinking about your business, how it will fall into place. No? Surely you're in a very intense and highly competitive industry, Brian, but we want to know, how do you keep your work-life balance? What keeps you from being a dull Brian Koo? Well, you're not. There's a lot of exciting things that you've been creating for the country.
I'd love to say time management, but I'm super
Mm-mm.
bad at time management. Like yesterday
Really?
was a holiday, um, and someone wanted to meet in the afternoon. So I had calls in the afternoon, and then someone wanted to meet late in the afternoon. I said, but it's a holiday. But then I wanted to meet them also. But then I also promised my family that I'd sit down with them and have dinner. So I ended up dragging them to the mall
Ah,
so I could meet with whoever I had to meet with. And then I was meeting
okay.
throughout dinner. But then that's something that I I'm very appreciative, that I have a family that understands. And it's gotten to that point because I try to involve them as
Mm.
much as possible. Um, I tell them about the work I do, why we're doing it. I would take them to the warehouse for them to see, because that's how I
Mm-mm.
was brought up.
Mm-mm.
No, I
Mm-mm.
grew up in our family's warehouse. My
Mm.
parents would drag me to the office. I hated
Mm.
it at the time because I wanted to play. I wanted to watch TV. But then looking back, I'm super appreciative of those times where they brought me, even if I was, just sitting on the couch, just being there, being able to experience, being able to see the work ethic, um, that they had. Uh, I think help form sort of how I think about and how I see things today. So I would involve them as much as possible. I encourage everyone I work with to involve them as much as possible. Talk to them like adults. Let them understand
Mm.
what you're doing, because they do. I mean, I have a
Mm-mm.
a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a
Mm-mm.
3-year-old, and my
Mm.
3-year-old understands.
Wow.
She sort of gets it,
Oo.
and it's so cute when she says "SariSuki" or
Oh.
I have another company that I was fortunate enough to invest in. Um, really, really good co-founders trying to digitize the MSME space, digitize how sari-sari stores record their finances to help them keep track of their finances. You know, it's a big problem for that sector. Kasi dami nangungutang eh. When people buy products, it's all on loan. They have payables, they have receivables, and the product they built was to help organize that in a digital way. Anyway, and I was with them last night, and I was reminded it was my second daughter, my then 7-year-old daughter that came up with the name of the company.
Wow.
And she remembers that. It's called Lista, right? It's you know, you list the utang and everything. And it was my 7-year-old that came up with it, and she's super happy. You know, every time we mention it, she's super proud. She knows what it does. She can't program yet. Hopefully, you know, she'll enjoy that when she grows up. But that's how I try to get them involved and how I try to balance. Basically, no balance. I just blurred all the lines and forced them to come and understand.
Yeah,
But you're right, Francine. One thing that I also realized, you know, when I was younger, it was all go go go. I'd feel guilty every time I'm not working. But I realized also that it's important to once in a while detach, turn off, you know, 24, 48 hours, maybe not more than 48 hours. For you to just detach and recenter, and you know, ask yourself the hard questions, the why, because when you're operating during the day, it's very hard to doubt yourself and question yourself all the time. But if you're able to detach yourself and look at what you're doing from an outside-in perspective, you give yourself a lot more mental freedom to ask yourself the hard questions and reflect, and then come back stronger, hopefully.
Wow. So, those are very helpful and inspiring words from you, Brian. Especially now that family plays an important part in our, well, family always comes first, no? And we're seeing you as Brian Koo, the family man as well. We want to ask you more questions, but we'll pause for another break.
Boses natin sa Kongreso, PG Party List. Kasangga mo, balot 108 iboto. PG Party List, basic good. Atin to, pagkaisa ng maling ang mga hinaing. Young and active leaders sa Kongreso, ang boses natin. Tandaan at iboto, balota 108. Civilian realize the projects we dreamed of. PG Party List, vote 108 na. PG Party List, kasangga mo, balot 108 iboto. PG Party List, boses natin sa Kongreso. PG Party List, kasangga mo, balot 108 iboto. PG Party List, basic good. Atin to, PG Party List, atin to.
We're back and you're still watching PairFect. We're still with Brian Koo. Now that we've learned all about this new business, SariSuki, it's time to learn a bit more again about him as an individual. Well, yes. So what I wanted to find out is, you're at a stage where everything is going well for you. You have a family, you're raising kids, and you have a new business. What does settling down mean for you at this point? Or is that part of your vocabulary right now?
Oh, I've thought about it.
You're in your mid-30s, right?
I'm turning 40 this year.
Oh, okay.
So,
Wow, turning point, ah.
yes, it is.
Sige.
So when I left Grab, I told myself I had, maybe a couple more good startups in me. A couple, right, of startups that I could really like sink my teeth into.
Okay.
And during the pandemic, I've been involved in the launch of 5 startups. So I guess I'm over my quota.
Okay.
Already. So
Very over.
so super over the quota. But I cannot see what's going to happen 5 years from now.
Okay.
All I can see is what I need to do for SariSuki in the next week, in the next 1 month, in the next 6 months. And that's it. It's just really the daily grind, which is what I enjoy. No? It's not we're going to be this giant company in the future. I have an idea of what we want to be, how many people we want to help, like what kind of impact we want to have on people's lives. But like for me personally, I don't know yet. As long as I still love what I'm doing, I'll continue doing it.
Well, as a parent, do you think about your children when you create the apps?
Oh, I do all the time.
Okay.
All the time. I think about it from a perspective of, is this something that they'll be proud of? If they find out that I was involved, and they grow older and look back, and they'll remember that a time in their childhood where their father was involved and they personally got involved. They remember, oh yeah, I've been to that warehouse, or oh yeah, I've spoken to customers. Oh yeah, I helped come up with that color in the app. That's what I want to leave with them. And of course, the work ethic and the same kind of hunger that we show, that I personally put into what we do.
Wow. Well said. What can we say? So now, Brian, we'll play a game called Fast Talk. Don't worry, there's no question about sex or chocolates. But
No
here we'll
questions
ask
about the
you.
elections.
Yes,
No questions about the elections.
no questions about the elections too. But we'll ask you questions and you have to answer quickly. If you're ready,
All right.
let's go.
Let's do
First thing you do when you wake up.
Coffee.
Oh, yes. Last thing you do before going to bed.
Netflix.
Oh. What are you watching right now?
What am I watching? Ozarks. So
Okay.
it's very interesting. It's like they're running a startup also, because they have problems
Yes.
every single day.
Yes,
So
yes, okay. Your go-to activity for de-stressing.
golf or gym.
Your shopping or grocery style, in a word. What kind of a shopper or grocery or
Last minute.
last meal? A memorable Grab ride or drive?
Oh God, there's so many. It was one where I was a Grab driver. So I used to drive Grab sometimes just to experience
Okay.
what our drivers feel, and use the app and stuff. the passenger that rode me, that I picked up, um, knew my cousin. It's just
How did
perplexes
that
me on how
happen?
such a small world, how such a small world is. The passenger I pick up like knew someone who I knew, who then knew my cousin, and this and that. But that, like, it's such a small world. So
But did that rider
that one
know
was
you?
pretty fun.
But did the rider know you? Kasi
I
the
think
person
I
you...
ended up introducing myself because I Facebook
Ah,
Live all my trips.
I
So I'll go on Facebook
see.
Live
I
and talk to the
see.
rider and have a
Okay.
conversation.
Yes. Okay. Recent experience in SariSuki that you won't forget, maybe with talking to a farmer or whatnot.
The story of Miss Christine, that one
Yes.
really
Yeah.
was very gut-wrenching, really like pulled on heartstrings for me.
Yeah. 3 words you detest.
Impossible, or I guess 3 words. I can't do it. So
Okay.
anything that people tell me that says it's impossible, too difficult,
Yeah.
shouldn't be in the vocabulary of a startup.
Yes. 3 most used words in your vocabulary.
Isn't it obvious?
Okay. 3 words describe SariSuki.
Community, transformative, and savings.
Okay. And 3 words to describe Brian Koo.
Crazy, uh, malikot mag-isip, and hopefully, and optimistic.
Yes, yes, yes. Last question. Brian Koo's power mantra.
Oh my God. You know what? I don't have one.
Or maybe a motto or slogan you live by.
Always try to do good.
Oh, okay. What can we say? Thank you, Brian. It was such fun talking to you, and we really
Oh, no,
learned a
thank
lot
you so
in
much.
with only a few minutes in our hands. We hope we can do this again. But before we let you go, can we ask some parting shots from you for our viewers?
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, parting words.
Yes,
For
maybe
the
advice
viewers?
for entrepreneurs.
Oh yeah,
or
yeah, of
invite
course.
them to SariSuki to take part in SariSuki. Anything.
Yeah.
It's
So
all yours.
thank you. So for all aspiring entrepreneurs out there, SariSuki is a good way to try out being a micro entrepreneur. Very easy, low risk way of trying it out. So I do encourage you to sign up to become a community leader and test out your hand in entrepreneurship. Or if you feel that you have a good community, access to a good community, and you want to help them by helping them save on daily essential items, please do come and sign up SariSuki. You can check us out on sarisuki.com and attend one of our training sessions. It happens every day from Monday to Saturday at 8 p.m. To learn more about how you can become a community leader. And then to all the other aspiring entrepreneurs out there, whether it's tech or non-tech, you know what? Always bet on yourself. Always believe in yourself. Find a good partner. Find a good support group. There's a lot out there now here in the Philippines that could help guide you in a business. And if it's a business that you really believe in, you should bet on yourself and give it a shot.
Well, thank you, Brian, for joining us today. We enjoyed learning about SariSuki, and we hope sana patuloy pa rin yung malikot mong pag-iisip for the good of our country, for our people. And thank you very much. Hopefully, this won't be the last. And thank you, mga Katribo, for tuning in today. Watch PairFect Live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and on Tribune Now on YouTube. I'm Francine, and this has been PairFect.